Today I'm going to talk about how we can reframe our thoughts and how that will really alleviate anxiety. It helps build confidence. It helps us deal with depression. It really helps. It's a major tool that you guys can use. So we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to offer some tips and some examples and everything. So let's jump in. So being able to reframe and challenge our thoughts is really one of the most beneficial tools that I think we can develop, and it just keeps helping. The more we learn how to do it and the more we practice and the better we get at it. I have a whole section on this in my course. If you want to check that out, you can find it through my website, truetoucounseling.com. It has a whole section on reframing and challenging and working through negative thoughts. So if you need that, check that out. But I find that this comes up, really it applies for everybody. Literally everyone can work on this and will benefit from working on this. But specifically, it's really bad in people with anxiety or depression. Their negative thoughts are really intense. They get really down on themselves. They think things like, why am I even trying? I'm worthless. I'm so bad at this. I struggle more than anyone else does. Like, the thoughts are just ridiculous. And especially around like a certain situation or something's happening and you just get really down and really frustrated, those thoughts can go on forever. And a lot of times there's pieces of them that maybe we really do believe, and there's also pieces of them that we know aren't true. Like we know we're not completely incompetent and worthless, unless we're feeling that way really and we're in like a really depressive low or something. Usually we're like, okay, I know that's not totally true, but that's how I feel. Or I know that person isn't actually, or probably isn't judging me that way, but I'm really nervous and anxious that they are, or that they're thinking that about me. And you just run with that thought forever, right? So I try to challenge these and help people challenge these in try to make them more realistic and keep it really simple. So you could have a really drawn out thought and it probably will help to process it and write it out, but let's simplify it. What is the underlying meaning of this? This thought is that I'm feeling really worthless. So how can I challenge that in a way that still feels real to me and still feels realistic? It's not sugar coated, it's not all hyped up, but it's challenged still. So instead of, man, I'm so worthless, you can say something like, I'm really struggling with this and I'm feeling really down right now, and I'm going to keep trying to work on it. Or, and I'm gonna reach out and try to get some support from a therapist. Or, and I'm trying. I know that I'm still working and I'm still trying and I'm not perfect. But just because I'm not perfect doesn't make me worthless, right? So it can be simple like that. And that makes a big difference. And I like to have people write them out and say them. And often it's really uncomfortable for people to say them because it's just like hits that pain point. Like, oh, that's how I feel. I'm feeling really down. I'm feeling really bad about myself. So to say something more positive is sometimes really uncomfortable, but incredibly powerful. And again, this isn't something where we want to be over the top. Like, you don't change I'm worthless to I am the greatest human being ever, because that's not realistic. It's just not, you're not going to buy that and it's not going to do anything for you. So trying to challenge it in a more realistic way. And if you really struggle with this, try to flip it and think of someone else saying it to you. So let's say my friend or my sister or somebody said I'm worthless. What would I say to them? So that can be a way that you can challenge it a little bit easier, and you can write it out a little easier. Like, okay, if my friend said this to me, this is what I would say to them. But it's hard for me to say that to myself. But that's a way that you can do that, and it helps with that a lot. You can also reach out to me or reach out to your therapist and have them help you through that. The really deep, intense thoughts and really heavy, anxious thoughts, maybe the ones that go more into suicidal thoughts or self-harm or just really deep shame, those can be a lot harder to challenge. So those may be ones that you want to reach out for support on. And those I'm happy to help, and I help people work through all the time. But try keeping track of, maybe just for today or this week, jot down in your phone or in a notebook when you have really negative or anxious thoughts, and then try to go back and challenge them. And challenge them, again, simple, realistic, just keep it simple, keep it realistic. And see how that feels and how that helps, and try again saying it out loud. So yeah, message me if you need help, comment if you have any comments or questions, and check out my website if you want to dive more into a course and more in depth in this topic. Okay, all right guys, see ya.